Oh, my phone. Uh-oh, my phone's gonna die too.
Oh no. And we're live.
We're actually live. I didn't get to do my
live.
I didn't get to do my song this week.
I heard you humming at the beginning. I thought that was it.
I was starting, and then I realized that my phone was dying or near death. That's okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 157, the episode after our 3-year anniversary. My name is Dan Nadelko.
Matt Stefanich, producer Matt.
And I'm Justin Maciel, creative director.
Awesome. And this week on episode 157 of Live at the Hive, Digital Marketing from the Trenches, we're going to be digging into some campaign strategy, Facebook ads, and not just for Facebook, but for everybody, for all platforms, the importance of building audiences, custom audiences, lookalike audiences, and the holy grail is the lead generation. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dig into 3 campaign types that you can launch that will get you beyond BFCM, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Mm-hmm. I think the one thing that the marketing world does and the business world does right now is there's a lot of screaming and hand waving over Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right?
Yep.
But it goes way beyond that. There's still months of activity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we've been saying this for a few months now that, with Black Friday and stuff like that, it's going to be different because of COVID. But I think the timings for the deals and the promotions, it's gonna go well past Black Friday, and I think too well before Black Friday we've seen deals already, right? So
yep.
A few weeks ago, so it's going to be different. But I think these strategies, you can take these strategies. We're going to be having 3 kind of campaign roadmaps that we go through, and each of these strategies, I mean, you can put them towards non-Black Friday events, right? Holidays, back to school, things like that. So some good stuff to definitely take a look at for this live. Absolutely,
for sure. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Also going to give you some ideas for some campaigns you can kind of resuscitate. Amazon does this frequently with flash sales and flash offers, so weekend flash offers, so you can go off time. And also, we're going to talk about the different ways to use creative and the importance of diversifying your creative and having some flexibility. So, I think we've got a full plate
for sure. For sure, and I see the chats coming in. Everyone's saying hi. We actually have Niket Pandry from India, all the way from India, joining us from Periscope. So thanks for joining.
All right. April. Stick around on the scope.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, so why don't we, before we dive into our presentation, why don't we talk about some of the what's new stuff that's been going on this week? And I think the Twitterverse kind of... they kind of experienced something different this week with fleets being launched. It's kind of a mix introduction from Twitter users, whether they like it or not. But this is basically stories for Twitter. Same thing that and love.
I wouldn't say basically. I would say
it's a copy and paste.
It's a copy and paste.
It's a copy and paste.
Justin, you're not a Twitter guy, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not a writer.
It's all visual.
No one's on Twitter for the writing, man. It's all for the memes. That's true.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I think it took Twitter a long time to incorporate stories, and I think there was a reason for that. I think everyone's going to Twitter for, escaping the traditional, Facebook and Instagram type experience. But, as these things evolve, everyone's just becoming like each other. It's you have to admit you're super biased because you were a Twitter guy. I am a Twitter guy, so I am pretty biased. Yeah. That's my home.
I mean, Twitter's Twitter. I think Twitter's different. I guess the thing is not that they introduced stories, because that was just a matter of time. I'm surprised LinkedIn came in before them. From a marketing perspective and a product perspective, I think the thing I don't understand is why you don't just call something exactly what it is. So hear me out for 1 second. There is, from what I can see, literally no distinguishing feature from a Snapchat story, which actually has more features, a Facebook and Insta story, which also has more features. LinkedIn, same, probably same. And then Twitter comes out and releases fleets as if it's something new. I mean, why wouldn't you just say we introduced Twitter stories?
Yeah, just call it
Yeah.
stories. That's what you were saying beforehand. Why give it this name? Like like you said, you understand how they're playing on the word fleeting and stuff like that, but just call it stories, man. It is what it is. You're not like inventing something brand new. We've had these for like years, right?
Yeah, if they were inventing something new, fine. But this is same old, same old. It's a little snippet content, little stories. Yeah.
And it's still in very like early stages. Like I'm on Twitter right now in a separate window, and like you can't experience fleets right now on your desktop or laptop. You actually have to use the mobile app. Yeah. So it's very interesting the way they've incorporated it for sure. But
well, enjoy your fleets, everybody.
Yeah.
Or stories.
Stories.
The other comment I want to make is that Evan Spiegel from Snapchat is literally the product manager for all of social media, because literally they introduce something new and everybody ends up copying it.
Yeah, pretty much. Miguel, he says, as someone who spends a lot of time on these platforms, I'm tired of the new, in quotation marks, borrowed features that actually offer less features. Still not over Reels.
I'm still not over Reels either. Come on.
I still think my favorite thing, and not to belabor this point too much and spend too much time and cut into what we're really talking about, my favorite part about Reels is seeing that, like, it's still for me anyways, I don't know, most of them are actually TikToks just re-uploaded.
Pretty much. That's what stories are, man. It's just a redistribution of TikToks, right? So I mean, I even posted one this week, right? So it's like, what the hell? Anyway,
TikTok must be like, thank you, Facebook, for all of the free branding all over your platform.
Yeah, exactly. But Reels is tricky now because it'll actually take, you know how at the end of a TikTok it'll give the user name and everything?
Doesn't cut it out.
It'll automatically cut it out. It knows.
Wow. Yeah, for sure.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, Stacy is saying, so that was Yvonne. Instagram's changing their interface, made it a lot more difficult to use. Edited that for you, bud.
That's true as well. Yeah, I think that's true. They moved. I think they have a dedicated shop button now at the very bottom of the dashboard.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then your notifications are in the top right where the DMs used to be. So
yeah, it changed 3 times in 4 days for me. So they're doing something over there.
Yep.
Anyways, let's move right along. One thing I did want to shout out here, and then maybe there's a couple of what's new things here, but I will go to where's our private chat here. I'm gonna put this in the private chat for you there, Matt.
Yep.
And copy that. Ran into one thing for the SEO world here. This is actually a very cool set of case studies with A/B tests around them, and they're very, very useful for those of you that are interested in SEO. Some of this may be overly technical, some of it is not. For example, one of the things they tested was they A/B split test prices in titles. The overwhelming consensus when they surveyed it that SEOs and businesses and business people were saying yes, it would be beneficial. The outcome of the test was that it wasn't. There's some more technical stuff in here, but definitely that search pilot resource is worth looking at if you're interested in SEO and you want to see some real world data. Not necessarily, it's not necessarily 100% biblical, but it's definitely better than guesstimating for sure. And it's got lots of good stuff in there.
Yeah, for sure. I really like this, especially for, people like right now at school, like they're teaching like light SEO. It's not too in depth, but I think this is really beneficial for professionals who aren't really SEO technical. It's a great way to kind of understand, how people A/B test these sort of things with their copywriting, but as well as, ads and things. So this is a good dive for sure.
Absolutely. All right, we better dive right in to what we're doing.
we got a big presentation, or not presentation, well, presentation, but so the team, the Busy Bees this week put this together for us so we can dive in, and it's basically going over 3 campaign roadmaps that we put together for a couple holiday campaigns as well as Black Friday.
For sure. And I think that the key thing here is we're going to revisit very quickly our See, Think, Do, Care strategy. And from a strategic perspective, this is the implementation of it. This is it working in the field, and we're going to cover this. So we're not going to go too deep into this because we talk about it quite a bit. But often the question is, well, how do you actually do it? So it's done with audiences. We're going to focus on Facebook and Insta, but Google has it. LinkedIn has a very similar feature. Twitter does have a similar feature as well. So it all maps together. And I think the basic thing is, especially during the holidays, a couple of things is don't just have one campaign, have a thoughtful campaign set that you can go over. Matt, if you jump back over to the base camp, the visual for the highest level is there as well.
Yeah, let me go here and look.
Some of the other things, like I said, that we're going to talk about, especially that Justin will be able to chime in on, is the use of different types and styles of creatives and how and where they can work, and messaging as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, not to spend too much time here, but this is the highest level of a strategy that can be adapted in various different scenarios. Whether it's a contest or whether you're trying to sell a physical product, even if you're trying to generate a B2B lead, this very similar roadmap of offering that lead magnet, which is a high perceived value offer, providing a tripwire, which is a very low cost entry point, or something also of high value if you're in the professional services, for example. And the really important side on the right-hand side is creating a follow-up series of communications with your potential customers.
Yep, for sure. This is we use these quite like all the time within our email campaigns. This is a very more simple one. I think they get a lot more in depth as you kind of go along, but this is a great, like you said, really high level way that you can kind of filter through the leads for your lead magnet as well as the audience for your ads. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump into our 3 campaigns that we're going to cover today.
Alrighty.
Oh, actually,
let's go over this first.
Okay, the roadmap. So I'm gonna yap on for a bit about this.
That's fine.
The audience builder roadmap is really important because if you don't implement this part of the process, you're not going to be generating leads. You're not going to be building your audiences. You're not going to be able to build lookalike audiences. So we're going to walk through this and why it's so important for every type of campaign. So in step 1, and we'll provide this afterwards, when we build a leads database, we don't have to pay to market to our leads and convert our leads because we have their contact information. The second part is, so capturing leads is critical to building, is critical. And the second part of this is building audiences is critical to getting you to that lead. And so the audiences are just for, and make it as simple as possible. You can create a saved audience, laser target that audience. Literally within Facebook, you can select, obviously, age, demographics, location, but you can also use interests. And there's something like 137 different types of interests that you can go after. You start up by creating that saved audience and really think about your audience at that point and create several different audiences: men, women, first-time purchasers, influencers they may follow and like, and really try to understand that. That's step 1. I'm going to try to go more quickly because I could spend the next 30 minutes talking about this. So I don't want to do that. Yep. The second step is go into Facebook and create a Facebook pixel. Well, I skipped to 3. Then the third part is defining your audiences and starting with a saved audience. Now, what we're going to do here is we're actually going to use, and this comes into our tips, we're going to use the highest level of brand awareness that exists on Facebook, in my mind, which is the boosted video. And that's different than the video ad. It's not a pre-roll. It's a boosted video to that saved audience. And what you're going to do now is you're going to also enable the pixel for that boosted campaign and use your audience. And then what you're going to do is you're going to watch that video grow. Now, creatively, right? And Justin, you've made a ton of these videos and stuff. What are some of the things in that video that you really want to keep in mind when you're making that video?
One thing, especially with video, is you got to make sure that you have captions. A lot of people watch them on mute. So if you are trying to sell anything and you try to want to get that message across, make sure you have some good captions in there. We use a we use a program called Subtitle, which works really well. That you can go in, you can edit the subtitles as well, because sometimes as you're talking, you won't be forming like perfect grammatical sentences. We are all like that. So you can kind of go in, you can edit it, make sure that you're getting your point across perfectly. So that's the one thing I always suggest. Making sure that the image quality sometimes doesn't have to be really good. Like sometimes having like some basic image quality is okay because it kind of blends in with the feed. So never be too thinking about making sure that it's high quality in that aspect. As long as you're getting your message across and you have the sales items there.
Yeah, and I think you want to have good quality images. I think they can be casual images as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Better way to describe it.
Yeah. The other tip on your video that you want to keep in mind is you have to catch people within the first 2 to 3 seconds. Keep it very snappy, keep it very quick, and make it on point to that audience that you're talking to. Okay, so let's jump back, Matt.
Yep.
You can see that? Okay. Now you're going to watch your audience grow inside of Facebook as you continue to boost. And you can start with $25 and $50 boosts, but you track the growth of that audience. And I put a little recycle sign beside that video because this is something you want to do consistently. If you say, hey, you know what, I'm not a video editor, I don't know how to do that, you've got several options. You've got videos, you've got promo.com. Justin mentioned Subtitle. There are tons of online video makers that exist out there. Some of them even run from your phone only, if that's all you've got.
Yep.
Right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a second offer. And if you can maybe scroll over to the right a bit, I know it's kind of long, but we're going to, oh, no. Yep, there. Right there. Here you go. Create a second offer targeted to your audience. And now we're going to run a free giveaway contest on top of the video, but we're only going to target it to the audience that we've been growing in the last step, right? That's why you want to grow that audience. And we're going to give a free giveaway. And our goal is to get them to sign up to get the email. And you can see here what we're doing now is the audience includes your saved audience plus anybody that interacted with your video. So the audience is going to continually grow, but they're going to know who you are, at least to some degree. So you don't want to wait a month, right, to be doing this, but you definitely want to do that next.
For sure. Yeah. And I think, look over to this side here when we're kind of building up the content. Notice how you're not asking for anything over on this side here. It's just getting engaged with the video and building up that audience and watching the audience grow. And then into the second step here, this is when you're asking your audience to fill out a form like an email or give you something like a piece of information.
Right. And you're giving them the opportunity to win something of value in this particular case. Yep. You should be seeing at this time your audience growing consistently in the Facebook Audiences Manager, in Facebook Business Manager. And you should also start to see your leads coming in on your contest. And we'll talk about a few different ways you can implement a contest, but there's tons of different contesting platforms that let you collect leads. Yep. Okay. So now, let's say we have a big enough audience of maybe 100,000 people in some geographic region. They should be, if you've got 200 or 300 people, you want to kind of widen the net a bit. You're over optimizing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the audience manager, and we're going to show you some screenshots of this. And this is called a lookalike audience.
Yep.
And what Facebook will do is it will take the members of your current audience, dive into the Facebook pool and say, from the population, find 1 to 10% of people that fit this same profile. Okay. I definitely think if you've got the budget, you should test several different lookalike audiences, but you'll get the highest accuracy at the 1% level. Okay. So again, you want your first audience to be decently sized. If it's too small, you're going to take, you're going to get a smaller audience out of it. Okay. So let's scroll over. Now what we're going to do is we're going to promote this contest. And again, this is just an example to our lookalike audience as well. So we've got a contest going to our saved audience, to our custom audiences that we've built, the people that have interacted with our video, And then we're adding a third audience, which is a lookalike. So now we've basically tripled the size of our addressable audience, but they all have similar properties and they're all targeted based on that initial audience, right? So that's why persona development becomes so important. And this is also your investment into your Facebook ads in this case. Okay. So next step, we've been running. Now we got a good engine and a good machine going. Using your email leads that you've been collecting for your free contest. Now you've got one of two things you can do. You could promote your core offer if you've got a strong enough offer at that point before the end of that contest. But these people will know who you are. So that's also very, very important. Now you could also, there's a couple of strategies we'll talk about when it comes to the a post contest. So you could do during contest and post, or you could just go post. It's up to you. But these people will know you. So the most important thing here is don't just send one email. Don't just send a join my contest and get in. Create sequences, which is from that first high level. The important part is this kind of consistent sequence. You can ask questions. You can, build a relationship. What we do find is that personalized emails work very, very well, as opposed to the marketing style emails in that side of the sequence. Okay. The last couple of things we're going to do is now we're going to use our custom audiences. So we've been investing and we've been building. We should have a decently sized audience. Depending on your audience, we've got audiences of 1.2, 1.3, 1.5 million, right? Using those custom audiences, that people that have interacted with your page and people that have interacted with your videos and people that are in those audiences, now you can create a specific Facebook ad for anybody that hasn't taken you up on the email and promote it through a Facebook ad. And you should get a good cost per acquisition at this point if your offer is good. If you're not getting a good cost per acquisition, review your offer. Okay. The last step in this, darn, it's taken more longer than I thought. Continually test and add new audiences, existing and new audiences. So don't just have two audiences. I've seen advanced Facebook marketers that have honestly hundreds and hundreds of audiences that they're continuously testing against. Whew.
I got that one all in.
There we go. Okay, we got that all in. So now let's look at our 3 campaigns. The 3 campaigns we're going to talk about today are the bundle, the contest. Oop, you almost had that perfect. And the lead magnet. Three campaign styles that you can use past Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right through, and even combinations of these as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's look at this guy here. So this is an actual campaign from, 4 or 5 years ago. It did very, very well. And bundling is super important. And can you maybe zoom out a little bit so the folks can see the, so Justin, we worked on this one together, if you recall.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, and by the way, sorry, before I knew I'm interrupting. Justin is very, very close to his 6-year anniversary at Honeypot Marketing.
Yep.
I know, went by quick.
Unbelievable. That's amazing. Anyways, sorry, go ahead, Justin.
But so one thing you can note here visually when it comes to like making a bundle creative is you can see that we made sure to add every single thing that is inside the bundle, their prices, the original price altogether, and the discounted price. And it's all very clearly written there. It's all very clear. You can see it very well. That's one thing that I always make sure, especially with a bundle, is you got to show them the savings and you got to show them the actual price down. You don't just put the prices of each and then all together, even put the original price all together and do the math for them, because no one wants to do math. So you got to do it for them and make it clean and concise. And as you can see in the visuals, instead of kind of meshing them all together, I made sure that you could see the items themselves very clearly as well.
Yeah, if you scroll over, you can see there.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah, and I think that's a really great point. When you're doing ads for e-commerce campaigns, I think being extremely explicit and very clear to people, right? one of the things we started out in the copy of this was all of this for only $1.99, which when someone is scanning, the question is, okay, what of what? What am I getting for? Oh, look, I'm getting the core product. I'm getting an add-on spray. I'm getting 2 ebooks. One is a recipe book that's over 200 pages long, and a 6-month subscription to Dollar Workout Club, which is an online workout regimen. So there's a whole lot of value packed into this price. Pardon me. If we scroll back over, one of the keys to this campaign and a key to every bundle that you ever do in order to make it effective, and we've done dozens and dozens and dozens of these, is using value adds to reduce discounting. So in this particular case, the actual discount, the hard cost discount, was only 14.1%. That includes us creating partnerships with 2 groups. One was Ruled.me for the cookbook. Pardon me. One was Rule.me for the cookbook. The second was with Drew and Lynn Manning for the Dollar Workout Club. We committed to purchasing a specific number from them wholesale. They gave it to us at a discounted cost because we were promoting them. But the perceived discount, if you add up the value of all of those items, is 47%.
Yep.
If you bought all of that individually. So this is how smaller businesses can prevent themselves from that race to the bottom and heavy discounting where they're probably losing money on every sale, which you don't want. Okay. Just a couple of things to kind of round this out. Obviously, set up your tracking links and make sure you understand how tracking works. If you don't have the technical capabilities, you can go to sites like Upwork and Fiverr, and there are lots of people that offer low-cost tracking and tagging services as well. Okay. And again, in our previous strategy, this would be part of the core offer bundle messaging. So that core offer is the bundle. Cool. Awesome. Anything else? Anyone want to add anything else on the bundle? Are we good to go?
I think we're good to move on.
Yeah,
to
I think we're good.
here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so let's take a look at the contest now.
Okay, we got a couple there in the contest. A couple of interesting things here. So again, I don't know, does anyone want to start off here on some of the strategic points of this? There's a couple of things in
yeah,
there.
so I can talk about this. So really with the contest, after you build up that initial audience, and a lot of the times too, we find that, with contests too, you can add, there's a little bit more leeway of building that physical audience, because a lot of people, depending on what you're giving out in your contest, there's people who are going to be entering it even if they don't know who you are. They're the people who just kind of want to grab something really quickly. But that being said, if you are building up your audiences and using the contest strategy, it actually is going to generate a little bit more leads for you. But as you can see here, within the contesting, it's fairly simple wording. Just enter today and win $400 worth of gear. In this particular contest right now, we're asking for about 5 different fields. However, with this one right here that we've done for a free year of coffee, this one was more of just first name, last name, and email, just really high level, just to get people into that funnel.
If you want to be more aggressive, just go for email and get the first name, last name later. You don't have to. You don't have to go. It really does depend on the audience that you're going for. I think the important thing about this is, as if you're developing Facebook ad campaigns, for example, for the free coffee for a year, your initial saved audience really you have to get into the mind of a coffee drinker and say, what pages would they follow? What interests would they have? Right? So do a bit of research into influential coffee pages and influential brands. So you could do, let's just see here. What is it? I always get this wrong. Not Death Valley Coffee. Death Wish Coffee.
Yep.
So Death Wish Coffee is a very specific type. They have a very specific audience. They're pretty big, but they create very strong custom coffees, right? You could find people that follow AeroPress, for example, right? That means that those people, if you've ever used an AeroPress, it's a little bit of a process to actually make a cup of coffee, but they're very loyal. So it all starts with that saved audience. Simplify the offer, and again, don't forget that this is probably the middle portion of, or it could be the top of the funnel, it could be the middle of the funnel, right? 2 points that I want to make just quickly on the follow-up. So as you're collecting leads here during this campaign, the other thing you do want to do as well is be very specific about start date, end date, and if you can, use a countdown timer, because countdown timers create scarcity, and we've seen them lift campaigns quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, keep it, don't make a 2-month contest. You want to try to keep it tight.
Yeah, try and keep it as tight as possible, but still giving people the chance. I'd probably say maybe 2 weeks for a contest like this would probably be ideal, and I think that's how long our the coffee one was, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks. Yeah, because you also don't want people to forget that they even entered.
Yeah,
you got a lot of people where we emailed and they didn't even email back because they totally forgot they even were in it.
Now, if you have enough of an audience that you feel confident, you can do a 48-hour flash contest and rotate the weekends and the days that you do it. So taking a surprise and delight approach to some of these campaigns. And if you look at what Amazon does and what Best Buy does, Amazon does this all the time with flash sales. You're right. Just as a side note, if you're selling on the Amazon platform, you actually have to apply to their flash program sale, and they will select you. So not anybody can just do a flash program. So obviously for Amazon, it's effective.
Yep.
Yeah,
very cool. Alrighty, so moving on. This is the lead magnet. So this is actually one of my favorite ones, other than the contest. I really like this one because it gives you an opportunity to create a little bit more of a story in terms of creating this campaign. And I know, Justin, you and I have worked closely in the past on a few of these lead magnet campaigns. Yeah,
I know for lead magnet campaigns, it's all about like nurturing your audience. But like you want to give them as much info as possible, because if you give them all that info, like here we have about saunas, and this person built saunas. But once you give them all the info, then they're excited about it. They have knowledge. They want to put it to use. They're like, okay, like now that I know all this about saunas, let's build one. I'm ready, right? You're really nurturing them to have the knowledge to get going.
Yeah, for sure. It's also try to have, and I know it's tough for some businesses, but like in this case, you're selling a sauna, but if you're a financial advisor, maybe you're selling group benefits. Everybody wants to get right to the sale. But the important thing is to show the benefits to the client, right? Not the benefits to you. So in that particular case, there's sections on the health benefits of a sauna. What if you have asthma? What if you have COPD? How can this help your general health and wellness? And when you take that approach and you're talking about the benefits, that encourages people to download and to want that lead magnet. So you have to make sure that there's quality in that content for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. And throughout this landing page for this lead magnet campaign, we actually use the landing page to tell a really high level story about what's in this digital book for people to understand, right? So we, in this one, if I remember correctly, we just listed the real high level health benefits towards owning a sauna. And then in the book, it goes into more detail about why a sauna is beneficial for these conditions, right? And it just kind of jumpstarts people wanting people to read more, right? It's that natural, curiosity of the customer and the anticipation of this knowledge.
Well, and you could create for any business. You can think about the high level thinking around this. Is this valuable content can become a content library, which can then drive. It can drive your social. It can drive your email content. You create it once, you can repurpose it and then distribute. You save a lot of time. It's very efficient and strongly recommended. And also, once again, importantly, you're focusing on solving your potential customers' problems as opposed to just promoting your product to them.
Okay. It really shows you care.
That's right.
For sure.
Nobody cares about your product if it doesn't solve their problems. So start with how you solve their problem.
One note, I think, before moving on from this as well, we were talking previously about, you know, a little bit of the A/B testing things. We've actually did quite a bit of A/B testing for this specific campaign. If you remember that, Justin, we did that. I think there was a few different language strategies that we used in the 2 different landing pages, as well as making one a little bit more thematic for the holidays. I think for this one, we added in a lot of holiday imagery, you know, snow on the saunas, snowflakes within the pictures and stuff like that. And sometimes it's the little things like that that can really make the difference in the performance of your landing page and your campaign.
It really did reboot the campaign when we did that. We it went from being obviously just talking about saunas to us really focusing on the winter holidays and us being like, okay, let's go full on, change the design. The content was still the same, but if we updated the design to focus more on what was thematic going on around us, and it really did refresh, and we got more leads again, which was really good.
For sure.
Awesome.
For sure.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Vaughn has a message here.
Yep. So lead magnets are an opportunity to storytell, but in reverse. Instead of you telling your story, you're telling the customers, and that's a great point. Yep. You know, it is a very relatable. It should be very relatable. In the, you know, a couple of examples like first-time home buyer guides for real estate, upgrading your home with a growing family. For accountants, it's, you know, 25 things you need to know about this coming tax year, you know, to save money. If you start to frame it that way and think about the content that way, it gets easier and easier to kind of understand the best way to go about that.
For sure.
Cool. So now we're on to tip time. We actually did pretty good there. I think we kind of got efficient. So that's good.
that was the core of it. Now we're just kind of going in some more additional tips and high level stuff. So this one is dedicated to boosting your video content, which we kind of talked about beforehand, right?
Yeah, for sure. So the number one tip, and again, this is from lots of experience, is create and boost videos first. Videos incredibly engaging. For example, whenever I post something on LinkedIn using a subtitle style video, I get like 10 times the engagement that I get from any other content type, and that goes across all platforms.
Yeah, I think with this specific video, if I remember right, we put it on Facebook as well, but through Facebook Ads Manager, we also funneled this into Instagram stories as well, and it did perform nicely on Instagram stories. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you're boosting your video content. Yeah,
and again, just on the videos, videos are the best way for brand marketing. And again, I think a lot of people, I think it's getting better, but brand marketing is incredibly important. And now we have tools. If people don't know who you are, they're not going to buy from you. So invest into that brand marketing. At least with this, when you boost the video, you're building your audiences, and you can then contact those people, or at least give those people additional messaging.
For sure. Now, going into tip number 2, urgency. So this is something that we've done together, and I think you and I did this one together, Dan. But we went in with some copy beforehand, more geared towards Halloween, and it wasn't really performing as nicely as we wanted to. We were still getting a few sales, a few clicks, and things like that, but when we went into your office, it was more so like, okay, let's create a sense of urgency and a fear of missing out for this offer. So when we went back to the ad copy, we trimmed a lot of the fat down, and it was just straight up like limited time offer, take $5 off your first purchase, like leave Halloween feeling great this year. And I think on one of the landing pages and emails, we actually included a countdown timer, and it was a night and day difference.
It is. It was. I think it was a 10x difference in the performance of the campaign, and that's where I think one of the things I would encourage people, everybody watching, is specificity. Like, be specific and have those SMART goals, but a deadline that's going to run. It's going to run out, and it shouldn't be 35 days from now, right? Yep. It needs to be create that sense of urgency. And then create that sense of scarcity. Like, for example, you could say, we've only got 200 of these offers available. right? If you have the ability to count that down a little bit, that's even better. And be very upfront with all of the details. Don't just say save 5%, right? And that's it. To Justin's point from before, is calculate the actual dollar amount for them, put it in there. All of the details go in there. Even if you're doing a webinar in the B2B space, it's date, time, location, right? Like what's happening here? Don't just say we have a webinar on some date coming up in the future.
Right? People want details. They want to know what's happening. They like that, right? So if you add as many details as you possibly can, that's what's going to comfort more people, and that's what's going to lead you to the sales.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. Cool. Third tip here is we're going to be talking about always using audiences, right? So creating that custom audience and then creating some lookalike audiences that we talked about earlier. I think we went quite in depth into this one earlier. Was there anything else you wanted to say on this one quickly before we moved over?
I just wanted to show everybody that if they're not familiar with Facebook Business Manager, scroll over to the right. That's the detail on a custom audience, but this is the actual interface. So these words that we're using are actual features. So you'll see custom audience, lookalike audience, saved audience, special ad audience is a unique case, but the top three there are actually how you go in and create these things and take the time to learn and understand that. Way too many times we see businesses not using this feature at all, and your Facebook ads will simply not work or not convert very well if you don't do this.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Alrighty. Going on to
I did want to show
the custom audiences?
The one, that one right there.
Yep. Okay. Let me just share my screen.
And this just kind of circles back a little bit on how you create it. And you can see in a list over here a whole array of different sizes and types of audiences. And you see the numbers in the size category there. These are for various different types of campaigns that we're running, but they do go everywhere from 4,400 people, which was a very small audience, but those are website visitors. So, you can use that to some degree, but audience sizes can vary wildly. And that's why you want to try to break them down and test different types of audiences and different types of lookalikes. Absolutely. But starting with your saved audiences are number one, and really think about those saved audiences and how you put them together.
For sure. Tip number 5 is going to be the abandoned cart. This is actually really important. So if you have an online store right now, definitely listen to the next few minutes. We'll be talking about this. But offering either a notification or a coupon or a discount on an item that's been in a customer's cart for a long time is extremely powerful. And I know that we've gone into a couple stores with some clients when we're first getting onboarded with them, and they actually have this feature turned off. And that's one of the first things that we go back into to reactivate, because just how powerful it is.
For sure. A couple of things about this. That particular one is from a number of years ago, but I don't know, Justin, if you recall, but as the one that was actually running that abandoned cart campaign, we made a couple of variants and then did the creative for an actual coupon that looked like a coupon that you would pick up. This one actually converted 35% more effectively than the other that was just text-based. So you want to be willing to try these goofy things, right? Like it's the little things sometimes. And, for especially Justin, our creative director, the visual identity and the way you communicate visually, just like Justin was saying, he's a visual person, right? It's got the proof is in the metrics on the conversion rates on that abandoned cart.
Yeah, and something as simple as like making the coupon look cheesy, like you just got a coupon.
Yep,
it makes people feel good, and they're just like, oh, okay, yeah, 15% off. Let's do this.
The other interesting thing, and you can see it in the header there, that we tested out was use of baby goats as opposed to products. People like baby goats; they're pretty cute. Overall, we saw a lift in all performance with the use of baby goats. So, babies, puppies, kittens.
Baby animals in general.
Yep. The one last point on this before we wrap, and you can go over to the side there to see the bullet points so everyone can see there. In the third point there, There are several platforms. I believe Shopify's abandoned cart does let you do this as well. There's Carts Guru that was actually built as SMS, but SMS messaging had a 50% higher conversion rate than email. And there were multiple stages that we tried not to be too aggressive. It was a 3-stage process. So email and SMS, right? Try to add value into that as well. And you'll lift your sales quite substantially with abandoned cart campaigns.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And we've talked about that in previous lives. I think, looking back at it, we have this, I think it starts at episode, 154 is when we really start going into these holiday campaigns and the Black Fridays. So, I mean, if there's anyone watching this weekend or at the end of the live, I have a little bit more extra time throughout your week. Definitely start at episode 154 that we've put up and work your way down this list, because we really create, this ultimate strategy for holiday campaigns within the past 4 episodes that we've done so far at Live at the Hive. So
yeah,
definitely some really good stuff to take a look at.
Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody. Well, that's a wrap for episode 157, 3 days and 1 week old, or 3 years and 1 week old.
Yep, officially older than 3 years. So there you go.
That's right. What do you guys have on for the weekend? Today is nice. It's supposed to get chilly tomorrow, though.
Yeah, I think we're going to be doing some Christmas decorating this weekend. I think we're going to be decorating a bit early.
Yeah, my whole family has all their Christmas decorations up already. They did it like November 1st. I was like, you are all crazy people.
You know what? If we're gonna be stuck in all winter time, put it up right now. I mean, everyone on my street already has their lights up. So
now I'm feeling it.
I have to work on my lights. I have a very long home frontage, so it's a commitment.
You guys still doing the tree this year?
Yeah, that's actually high on my list to try to get done this weekend and make some calls to see if I don't want to be going in too late.
No.
Do you usually get a real tree?
Sure. Always.
Oh yeah, he gets his trees are huge.
I get a 13-footer. We have a high ceiling in our living room, so I get like a 13-foot tree.
Wow, you'll have to take photos.
Yeah,
I will. Yes. I definitely will. All right, everybody. Well, we hope that you found that valuable. And if you're watching on the replay, feel free to comment. We do monitor the comments afterwards, and we will see you next week on episode 158 of Live at the Hive.